Hello, my dear children. Today again we will continue with the same chapter in your English literature book, Dusk. Till now, you know that Norman Gordsby is a person who associates dusk with people who are defeated. He says that this hour of the day is for them, and he is sitting in a park. There he met a person who tells him that he is lost and missed the address of the hotel in which he stayed, and now he is left with no money. Now see paragraph number 10. Not at all impossible, said Gortsby. I remember doing a similar thing in a foreign capital, but on that occasion there were two of us. We remembered, luckily, that the hotel was on a smaller canal, and after some search, when we found the canal, we found the hotel. When young man showed him concern that how impossible it is to believe his story, Norman Gordsby said that it's not impossible, and he has also experienced the same thing in a foreign capital, but fortunately they were two, and they remembered that the hotel was somewhere on a smaller canal, and once they found the canal, they found the hotel too. In a foreign city, it wouldn't be difficult to go to the consul and get help from him. Here, unless I find a decent chap who would believe my story and lend me some money, I'll have to spend the night perhaps on the embankment. Here, the young man says that it won't be difficult for him and he could go to the consul. Consul is a envoy, a representative of a particular country, and he helps the people of his country who came to visit or for any purpose in a foreign country. For example, here in India, in Delhi, many ambassadors are there of different country. They are here to help the people from their own country here in India. So he is saying that he could go there and get help from consul, but he needs someone decent to believe his story and lend him some money. So he says he may have to spend the night on the banks of the river Thames if Gordsby does not lend him some money. Have you got the soap with you? Gordsby asked. The young man at once sat forward, felt rapidly in the pockets of the overcoat, and then jumped to his feet. I must have lost it, he muttered angrily. Gordsby said, the weak point in your story is that you are unable to produce the soap. To lose a hotel and a cake of soap on one afternoon suggests willful carelessness. After listening to his story, Gordsby asks him that if he has got that soap that he bought. The young man checked his pocket and said that he must have lost it. Gordsby said that here his story has got a weak point, that he is unable to produce the soap also, and this must be done by a deliberate carelessness, because he has lost the address of the hotel as well as the cake of soap. Now see paragraph number 15. When the young man heard this remark, he hurried away from the path, his head held high. So when the stranger was unable to produce the cake, he muttered angrily that he had lost it. He looked like a fool and a liar. When young man heard the remark by Gordsby that it is a deliberate carelessness, he immediately stood and left the place immediately. He may have pretended to be insulted when Gordsby said that he had been deliberately careless in losing both the cake of soap and his way to the hotel. It was a pity, Gordsby thought with a smile. The going to get one's own soap was the one convincing touch in the whole story, and yet it was just that little detail which didn't help him. If he had been clever enough to provide himself with a cake of soap, wrapped and sealed at the chemist's counter, he would have been a genius in his profession. In this paragraph, Godspy says that the young person could have made his story convincing by providing a little detail in his story. Like if he would have provided the soap, this story would have been convincing enough. Instead of saying that he has lost it or pretending to have lost it, he could have provided a sealed soap that would have worked as a proof for him. The last line, he would have been a genius in his profession, shows that God's spy was understanding that he is not a genuine person but a trickster. With this thought, Godspy got up to go, and as he did so, he let out an exclamation of surprise and sympathy. Laying on the ground under the bench was a small oval packet wrapped and sealed. It was a cake of soap. It must have fallen out of the young man's overcoat pocket when he flung himself down on the seat. Now, when God's spy stood to leave the place, he was surprised to see that there was a soap under the bench and thought the man may have really dropped it. He felt bad to have misjudged an honest man and not helped him out of his problem. The next moment, Godspy was running along the dust covered path in anxious search for a youthful figure in a light overcoat. He nearly gave up the search when he caught sight of him standing on the border of the carriage drive. Godspy hailed him. As soon as he saw the soap, he immediately felt surprise and sympathy as well, and the next moment he ran along the dust covered path and he started searching a young man in light overcoat. And he stopped his search when he saw him standing on the border of the carriage drive, and Godspy immediately called him. The important witness to the truth of your story has turned up, said Godspy, holding out the cake of soap. It must have slid out of your overcoat pocket as you sat down on the seat. I found it on the ground after you left. I didn't believe your story, you must excuse me for that, but the appearance of the soap changed everything, and now my doubts are gone. The loan of a sovereign is any good for you. In this paragraph, Godspy is saying that the witness of his witness that can prove that he is not lying, the young man is not lying, has turned up, and he was also sorry for not believing the story of the young man at first place. Not only this, after believing his story, after giving him the soap, he provided the young man with the loan of a coin that was worth about £1. The young man took the coin and hastily pocketed it. Here's my card with the address, continued Godspy. Any day this week you can return the money, and here is the soap. Don't lose it again. It's been a good friend to you. Luckily you found it, said the young man, and blurting out a word or two of thanks, he fled. As soon as Godspy gave him the money, he immediately pocketed it. Godspy later gave him his card with the address and said that he can return the money any day this week, and told him not to lose the soap again. From the way he pocketed the money quickly and fled from the place, we can presume that he could not believe his luck and wanted to get away before Godspy could ask him awkward questions. Now, Godspy also interpret his action that that the young man was shocked at his turn of fortune in getting back his soap as well as a coin. Poor boy, he nearly broke down, said Godspy to himself. As Godspy retraced his steps past the seat where the drama had taken place, he found an elderly gentleman poking the ground with his stick beneath the seat and realized that it was his earlier fellow occupant. Have you lost anything, sir? Yes, sir, a cake of soap. Now, when God's boy returned to the bench, he found the elderly gentleman who was sitting before with him was looking for a cake of soap he may have dropped there. This proves that the lost soap did not belong to the young man who told all the lies, but to the man who sat there before with God's spy. Now we can understand how ironic the title is. From God's spy's point of view, dusk is the time of the defeated. But he becomes the defeated person who loses a coin to a confident trickster. God's spy feels superior to others while sitting on the bench, but life, fate, deals as erratically with him as it does with the others. He loses a coin as the elderly man loses his cake of soap, and the young man wins both the soap and the coin. So, here you can understand the difference between appearance and reality. The old man who sat before with God's spy looked good, was well dressed, but God's spy thought that he is a person whose family doesn't like him, doesn't care for him. And the next person who came to sit next to him looked very disappointed. His clothes were also fine, and the way he told his story and expressed his problems at first hand, Godspy did not believe it, but later, appearance of the soap compelled him to believe a false story. This shows that there is difference between appearance and reality. That's it for today, children. If there is any confusion, please ask. Thank you.